It's the game of the week. We're at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati as the Cincinnati Reds take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. 1969, the Dodgers won the National League West. 1970, the Reds won the National League West. 1971, the Dodgers won the National League West. Both of these teams have retooled a little bit. Well, a little bit for the Dodgers and a lot for the Reds, as they expect to face off all season long for the National League West. Starting pitchers today are Don Sutton for the Dodgers and Jack Billingham for the Reds. Reds pulled off probably the most notable trade in the offseason when they traded Lee May, Tommy Helms, and Jimmy Stewart to the Houston Astros for Joe Morgan, Dennis Mickey, Cesar Geronimo, Jack Billingham, and Ed Armbrister. Four of those former Astros are in their starting lineup today. In Cincinnati, it's 66 degrees. Wind speed is 12 miles per hour, right to left. This is April 15th, and due to the strike, the season was supposed to open a week ago Wednesday, with the Astros coming in here to Cincinnati. The Dodgers have lost 7 games to the strike, and because of the one game with Houston that was canceled, Cincinnati's lost 8 games to the strike. I've been tweaking with the volume control here to try to make my voice sound louder. Starting lineup for the visiting Los Angeles Dodgers. Leading off is the shortstop, Maury Wills. Batting second to first baseman, Bill Buckner. Batting third to center fielder, Willie Davis. Batting fourth, newcomer Frank Robinson, who is back in the National League. Batting fifth to second baseman, Jim Lefevre. Batting sixth to left fielder, Willie Crawford. Batting seventh, the catcher, Duke Sims. Batting eighth, the third baseman, Billy Grabarkowitz. And batting ninth, the pitcher, Don Sutton. On defense, Cincinnati has Tony Perez at first base. Newcomer Joe Morgan at second base. Youngster Dave Concepcion at shortstop. Another newcomer from Houston, Dennis Menke at third base. The acquisition of Menke allowed Tony Perez to move back to his better defensive position at first base. In left field, Pete Rose. In center field, Bobby Tolan. Tolan missed the entire 1971 season with an Achilles tendon injury. In right field, Cesar Geronimo, catching Johnny Bench. And on the mound, the fourth of the newcomers from Houston, Jack Billingham. Jack Billingham also pitched for the Dodgers. Leading off for the Dodgers is Maury Wills. Maury Wills, he was a Rookie of the Year back in 1959. We have several Rookies of the Year here today. He was a World Series MVP in 1968 and 69. but with two different teams. He was the MVP in the World Series in '68 with the Pirates and in '69 with the Dodgers. He was also the MVP of the second All-Star game in 1962. He had a great season last year. He had 308. He had 61 runs batted in. He stole 18 bases. According to this, he's 40 years old. I'm not sure if he's 40 years old yet or still 39, but he's been around for a while. Let's see, Jack Billingham. He's a fastball pitcher. He could bring some good heat. He's a fly ball pitcher. Yeah, he was with LA for 1 year in 1968. He was a relief pitcher with them. Last season with Houston, he was 21-7 with an ERA of 2.18. The trade was a controversial in Cincinnati and not very popular during the offseason because Lee May and especially Tommy Helms were really fan favorites here in Cincinnati. But I think the fans are adapting a wait and see attitude about how this trade will shake out. Here's Billingham's first pitch of the season. Curveball, ball one. Bill Buckner's on deck. Wills pops it up, second base. Joe Morgan takes charge, and he's got it. 1 out. Here is Bill Buckner. Buckner last year got into 115 games. He had 285. He had 8 home runs, 56 runs batted in. He had a couple of very short stints with LA in 69 and 70, but last season, I believe he was on the roster for the entire season. He looked good as a rookie last year. Here's the first pitch. Fly ball into center field. Tolan drifting back. He's got it. 2 outs. Here's the center fielder, Willie Davis. Davis had a great year with the Dodgers last year. He had 322, 12 home runs. He drove in 91 runs. He's been a Dodger regular since 1961. He has a career batting average of 281. He needs, 307 hits to get to 2,000 hits. He had 25 stolen bases last year as well. He had 2 seasons where he had 43 stolen bases, 1964 and 1968. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fly ball, center field. Tolan over, and he's dives. He's got it. Nothing across for the Dodgers in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first. Los Angeles nothing. Cincinnati coming to bat. Cincinnati's batting order. Leading off the left fielder, Pete Rose. Batting second to second baseman, Joe Morgan. Batting third to center fielder, Bobby Tolan. Batting fourth to catcher, Johnny Bench. Batting fifth to first baseman, Tony Perez. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Dennis Menke. Batting seventh, the right fielder, Cesar Geronimo. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Dave Concepcion. Batting ninth, the pitcher, Jack Billingham. On defense, the Dodgers will have Bill Buckner at first, Jim Lefevre at second, Maury Wills at shortstop, Billy Grabarkowitz at third, Willie Crawford in left, Willie Davis in center, Frank Robinson in right, Duke Sims catching, and on the mound, Don Sutton. Sutton was the Rookie of the Year in 1966. He won the Cy Young Award last year. He was 23-3 with an ERA of 2.08. There's going to be a few more former Rookies of the Year. Pete Rose leads off for the Reds. Rose hit 308 last year. He had 19 home runs, 72 runs batted in. He is 305 hits away from 2,000 hits. He has gotten 200 hits in 5 times in his career, going back to 1963. And he had 192 hits in 1968. So he puts the bat on the ball. Sutton's a hard thrower. Probably about on line with Jack Billingham. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Rose. Base hit. Gets past Frank Robinson. Up against the wall. Davis and Robinson collided. Going for that one, and Rose is in with a stand-up double. Frank Robinson, he's still popular here in Cincinnati. Played with the Reds from 1956 to 1966. Here is Joe Morgan making his first at-bat as a member of the Reds. Came over from Houston. He was a Rookie of the Year in 1965. Last year he had 273. 10 home runs and 78 runs batted in. He is a lifetime 253 hitter. He had some very bad relations with Houston manager Harry Walker. And he was probably very happy to be getting out of Houston, or at least out of the current Astros organization. Curveball, he fouls it back, strike one. Yeah, Morgan was named publicly by Walker last year as a player who had a detrimental effect on the Astros. Changeup. He hits a fly ball in the center field. Willie Davis drifting over, has it. 1 out. Here is Bob Tolan. The Reds missed him last year. He missed the entire season because of an Achilles tendon injury. He came over to Cincinnati for the 1969 season from the Cardinals, and he had 316 and 69, 315 and 70. Had 37 home runs both of those years. Yeah, he had 52 stolen bases in 1970. They missed him last year. So the Reds, let me see, they stumbled last year. Yeah, 1970, in Sparky Anderson's debut year as the Reds manager, Cincinnati finished in first place with a 92-70 record. Last year, they dropped to 78-84 and finished in fourth place. Caught the inside edge, strike one. High and outside, ball one. Curveball, base hit into the gap, up against the wall. Rose scores. Davis looked like he ran into the wall. Tolan with a stand-up double. Cincinnati jumps to a 1-0 lead. Here is Johnny Bench. He was a Rookie of the Year in 1968 and the MVP in 1970. He had a serious drop-off last year. He had an injured wrist, and it really affected his hitting in the first half of the season. He ended up with batting .248 with 20 home runs and 74 runs batted in. Contrast that with 1970 when he batted .321 with 54 home runs and 180 runs batted in. His drop-off and the loss of Bob Tolan were significant factors in the Reds' poor showing last year. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike one. Base hit in the left field. Got past Grabarkowitz. Tolan scores. It's 2-0 Cincinnati. Here is Tony Perez. He was able to move back to first base. With the acquisition of Dennis Menke. He had started off as a first baseman with the Reds and moved to third base in 1967. Last year, he appeared in all but one game. He had .254. He had 25 home runs and 78 runs batted in. He had a drop-off last year also from 1970 where he had hit .333 and had 43 home runs and 147 runs batted in. So like Johnny Bench, he had a pretty significant drop-off. He was the All-Star Game MVP in 1970 when the All-Star Game was held here at Riverfront Stadium. There goes Bench. The throw. He's out. Sims to Lefevre. Pitch was in there for a strike, so it's no balls, one strike, 2 outs. Fastball, strike 2 called. Another fastball, line shot on the first base line, but that's foul. Just inside, ball one. Perez hits a Fly ball in left field. Crawford going back. It's off the wall. Perez with a stand-up double. That is the third double that the Reds have got in this inning. Here is Dennis Menke, the third baseman. He came over from Houston. He had also played for both the Milwaukee and Atlanta Braves. Last year with Houston, he had 257. He had no home runs and 68 runs batted in. Check the swing. Strike one. Grounder up the middle. Lefevre to his right has it. Throws him out. But it's a big inning for Cincinnati. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They left one man on base. We go to the second inning. And it's Cincinnati 2, Los Angeles nothing. For the Dodgers, it will be Frank Robinson, Jim Lefevre, and Willie Crawford. Here is Frank Robinson. It's his first game as a National Leaguer since 1966. He spent 11 years playing for the Reds. Then he went to Baltimore in 1966. He had a rough season last year. He got off to a really bad start. I mean, bad enough that they were starting to talk about him being through. But he ended up batting .287 with 18 home runs and 71 runs batted in. In fact, his 18th home run last year, his last home run of the season, was his 500th all-time home run. He needs 515 hits to get to 3,000, so maybe. He was a Rookie of the Year in 1956. He was the MVP in 1965 and 1966. 65 with the Reds, 66 with the Orioles. And he was the All-Star Game MVP in 1968. He has a lifetime .307 batting average. He is one of the all-time greats. And spoiler alert, Frank Robinson, future member of the Cleveland Indians. And speaking of the Indians, I saw that a report in a 1971 Sporting News that the Indians were rumored to be wanting to approach Robinson to retire last season and take over as the manager of the Indians. Now, that is something I had never heard before and don't remember ever hearing about that in Cleveland. So I don't know where that report came out of or if somebody just made it up. But here's a 3-0 pitch to Robinson. High and inside, ball 4. Robinson walks. Robinson got a warm welcome here in Cincinnati. As I said, he spent 11 years playing here. This is his first appearance at Riverfront Stadium since the 1970 All-Star Game. Until today, that was the only time he had appeared in a game here. Here is Jim Lefevre, the second baseman. During the strike, Lefevre rounded up most of the members of the Dodgers who lived in his area of LA. I believe in the western part of LA County. to continue training and doing drills, even though they were locked out of the spring training sites and Dodger Stadium. And on the eastern end of LA, it was Claude Osteen that was doing this. He said it was easy for the Dodgers to do this because they were already in Los Angeles when the strike was called, because they were preparing for their annual spring training series against the Angels. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike one. It's a liner right to second. Joe Morgan has it. One away. Here is Willie Crawford in left field. Crawford's been with the Dodgers. Well, he had short appearances between 64 and 67. He's been with the team on a regular basis since 68. He's never, the most games he's ever gotten to in a season is 128. He got into 103 last year. He had 323, 9 home runs, and 60 runs batted in. The Dodgers outfield last year had a bit of a revolving door quality to it. With Willie Davis was a regular, and Rich Allen was a regular too. Allen had been reported was traded to the White Sox. And the Dodgers obtained Tommy John in that deal to help strengthen their starting rotation. High and outside, ball one. Swing and a miss, strike one. Base hit in the right field. Geronimo's up with it, and Robinson will hold at second. Geronimo has a very strong arm. It's first hit of the season for the Dodgers. Here is catcher Duke Sims. Sims came over to the Dodgers after the 1970 season from the Indians. He got into 74 games last year. He had 255 with 5 home runs and 35 runs batted in. Two days ago, the Dodgers strengthened their catching core by obtaining Dick Dietz off of waivers from the Giants. They obtained Chris Cannizzaro during the offseason. From the Cubs. And their former catchers, Bill Sudeikis and I can't think of the guy's name. He ended up managing the Indians. Jeff Torborg have been traded away. They have a couple of young catchers in the pipeline, Joe Ferguson and Steve Yeager. The 0-1 pitch. Pops it up. First base side. Foul ground. Perez after it. But it makes the seats. Grounder right back to the box. Billingham to Morgan for one. To first. Double play. 1-4-3 double play. No runs. One hit. No errors. One left. We go to the bottom of the second. It is Cincinnati 2, Los Angeles nothing. It'll be Cesar Geronimo, Dave Concepcion, and Jack Billingham for the Reds in the second inning. Geronimo came over from Houston. He got into 88 games last year. He had 239. He had 5 home runs, 23 runs batted in. The 1-0 pitch. Fly ball in the left field. Willie Crawford is there, and he has it. 1 out. Here's the shortstop, Dave Concepcion. This is his third year. Last year in 129 games, he had 172. He had 2 home runs and 37 runs batted in. Fastball, hard bouncer to second. Lefevre is up with it, throws him out. 2 outs. Here's the pitcher, Jack Billingham. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 1 for Sutton. Nothing across for the Reds in a second. We have played 2. It is Cincinnati 2, Los Angeles nothing. Billy Grabarkowitz, Don Sutton, and Wills will bat for the Dodgers in the third. Billy Grabarkowitz missed most of last year due to an injured elbow. He got into 34 games. He had 237 with no home runs and 2 runs batted in. As a regular in 1970, he had 327. He had 16 home runs, 92 runs batted in. So they're hoping he can come back after having surgery. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 1 for Billingham. And here's the pitcher, Don Sutton. The 2-2 pitch. One bouncer to Concepcion. He has it. Throws him out. 2 outs. Here is Maury Wills. He's 0 for 1. He popped out to Joe Morgan in the first inning. The 1-2 pitch. Fouls it back. Benches after it, but it's out of play. Bouncer to second. Morgan has it. Throws him out. 3 outs. Nothing across for the Dodgers in the third. Go to the bottom of the third. It'll be the top of the order for Cincinnati. Rose, Morgan, and Tolan. Rose is 1 for 1. He doubled in the first. And then he came around to score. It's fly ball in the right field. Robinson drifting back, and he's got it. 1 out. Here is Joe Morgan. He's 0 for 1. He fly to the wall in center field in the first. The 1-1 pitch. Grounder to second. Lefevre is up with it. 2 outs. And here's Bobby Tolan. He doubled in the first. That drove in Pete Rose. The 1-1 pitch. Fly ball in the center field. Davis drifting over. He's got it. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cincinnati. We played 3 here on opening day. It is Cincinnati 2, Los Angeles nothing. And I am going to take a short timeout. And I'm back after having a refreshing sip of Rocket Fuel malt liquor. Let's take a quick look around the league. Today, everybody is scheduled to open, even though there is a rain delay in the Yankees-Orioles game. Hasn't started yet, and it looks like it may get rained out. Top of the third at Shea Stadium. The Pirates lead the Mets 2-1. Roberto Clemente hit his first home run. That is Doc Ellis against Tom Seaver. This will be the first game that the Mets played at Shea Stadium since the death of Gil Hodges. Top of the fourth in Detroit. No score between the Red Sox and the Tigers. That's Marty Patton against Mickey Lolich. And top of the third in Cleveland, the Indians lead the Brewers 3-0. That is Bill Parsons against Gaylord Perry. Gaylord Perry making his American League debut. For the Dodgers in the fourth, it will be Buckner, Davis, and Robinson. Buckner's 0 for 1. He flied to deep center in the first. He took Bobby Tolan all the way to the wall. And I think the fans gave like a collective sigh of relief when they saw that Tolan was able to get back to the wall like that without any hint of having a problem with his leg. The 0-1 pitch. Fly ball in the right field. Geronimo coming in. He's got it. 1 out. Here's Willie Davis. He's 0 for 1. He flied out to deep left center. He tested Tolan as well. And so far today, Tolan is passing the test. The 1-1 pitch. It's a fly ball to left or right field. Geronimo coming in, and he's got it. 2 outs. Here's Frank Robinson. He walked in the second inning. He said before the game that he was very appreciative of the response he's been getting from the fans here in Cincinnati. And that he still has a lot of great memories of the time he played here. In fact, let me check something real quick here. I believe Frank Robinson was on a World Series winner in Cincinnati. I mean, this is my APC universe we're talking about. Yeah, he was on the World Series winning team in 1957. Or no, I take that back. They lost that in 57. Let me. Oh, I'm sorry about this. I didn't think to check this before I started the game. No, Frank Robinson played on two World Series losing Cincinnati teams, 1957 and 1962. Cincinnati won the World Series in 1955 against the Indians, but that was a year before Robinson appeared. The 3-0 pitch. Down and in, ball four, second walk. Given up by Billingham, and they have both been to Frank Robinson. Here's Jim Lefevre. He's 0 for 1. He lined to Joe Morgan in the second inning. Swing and a miss, strike one. This traded card that Joe Morgan has. 1972 was the first year that me and a kid across the street from me collected baseball cards. And those traded cards made quite a stir in our neighborhood. They probably hit after we went back to school since they were in the last series. But Frank Robinson has one in this game as well. The Dennis Menke one was a custom creation by on the custom baseball cards page on Facebook. But they made a big stir in our neighborhood just because of looking different. Inside, ball one. Pops it up. On the infield, Joe Morgan has it. 2 outs. Or no, that's 3 outs. I'm sorry. Nothing across in the top of the fourth. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Cincinnati 2, Los Angeles nothing. Yeah, here's the Frank Robinson traded card. When this game was played, April of 72, I had just started collecting cards. This was the first year I collected cards. The kid across the street and I were started at the same time. We were both in the second grade when this game was being played. Here is Johnny Bench. He is 1 for 1. He singled in the first, and that scored Bob Tolan with the second run of the game. The 3-1 pitch. Ball four. First walk given up by Don Sutton. Here is Tony Perez. He doubled in the first. That was the third of 3 doubles that the Reds got in the first inning. Swing and a miss, strike one on a curveball. Fly ball in the left field. Crawford going back. That's gone. Home run. Home run number 1 for Tony Perez. And that'll make it 4-0, Cincinnati. Here is Dennis Menke. He's 0 for 1. He grounded a little fever in the first inning. 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. there's been concern about what the state of pitching will be in the early going of this season after the spring training layoff because of the strike. So I don't know if we're seeing Sutton just having a little trouble getting on track, or yeah, I mean Cincinnati is a hard-hitting team. They've been known as the Big Red Machine since the late '60s. Here is Cesar Geronimo. He's 0 for 1. He flied to left in the second inning. Grounder to short. Could be 2. Wills dives. Tosses a second for 1. There'll be no play to first. Wills played that perfectly on the turf. So 1 out, runner on first. Here's Dave Concepcion, who's 0 for 1. He grounded to Lefevre in the second inning. Too high, ball 1. Hits fly ball into center field. Davis is there. He's got it. 2 outs. Here's Jack Billingham. He struck out in the second inning. Hits a shallow fly ball down the right field line. Robinson's after it, but that makes the seats. He tipped that one. Strike 2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for Sutton. But the Reds get 2 runs, 1 hit, no errors. No one left on base. We played 4 here in Cincinnati on opening day. It is Cincinnati 2, Los Angeles nothing. Cincinnati has 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They've left 2 men on base. Los Angeles has no runs, 1 hit, no errors. They've left 2 men on base. Cincinnati came out swinging early. In the first inning, Rose doubled. Morgan hit a deep fly to center field for the first out. Then Tolan doubled. That scored Rose. Bench single. That scored Tolan. That made it 2-0. Bench was caught stealing after that. And then Perez followed that up with a double. And then in the fourth inning, Bench led off with a walk, and then Tony Perez hit a 2-run homer, making it 4-0. For the Dodgers in the fifth, it will be Willie Crawford, Duke Sims, and Billy Grabarkowitz. Willie Crawford is 1 for 1. He singled in the second. He is the Dodgers' only hit of the game so far. The 1-1 pitch. Liner down the right field line. That's fair. Crawford rounds first. He'll round second. The throw, he slides. He's safe with a triple. Oh, let's watch that one again. Toronto makes a nice play for it. Crawford, he is fast. Morgan cut it off to throw to third, but not in time. So nobody out. Runner on third. Here's Duke Sims. He's 0 for 1. He grounded into a double play in the second inning. Fastball, ball 1. Reds are playing at regular depth. Breaking ball high, ball 2. Just low, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Strike one called. Sims was taken all the way on that one. Outside, ball four. Third walk given up by Bellingham today. Here's Billy Grabarkowitz. He is 0 for 1. He struck out in the third. Ball one. Caught the inside corner. Strike one. He looked at strike two. Curveball. That's over the bench's head. Crawford scores. Sims to second. And they're calling that a wild pitch. The 2-2 pitch. Up and in, ball three. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fouls it back. Benches after it, but it's out of play. Outside, ball 4. Fourth walk given up by Bellingham. Second walk in this inning. Here is Don Sutton. He's 0 for 1. He grounded to Concepcion in the third. He's an excellent bunter. They're playing him in for the bunt. Lays one down. Billingham's up with it. Throws to Morgan, covering. 1 out. Sims and Grabarkowitz advance on the sacrifice. Barkowitz is a fast base runner, but Sims is one of the slowest men in the major leagues. Here is Maury Wills. He's 0 for 2. He popped to Morgan in the first, grounded to Morgan in the third. Hits fly ball into center field. Tolan drifting over to his left, has it. And they are going to hold Sims at third. As practically anybody else would have been on third, they would have tagged up. Here is Bill Buckner, who's 0 for 2. He flied out to Bob Tolan in the first and the fourth. Both times he put Tolan up against the wall. Fastball, base hit in the right field. That in the gap all the way to the wall. Sims scores. Grabarkowitz scores. Buckner rounds second. The throw, he slides. Says he has a stand-up triple, so I guess I did a Jerry Coleman. That he slid into third with a stand-up triple. I remember that as a Jerry Colemanism when I was stationed in San Diego. That makes it 4-3. 2 outs, runner on third. Here's Willie Davis. He's 0 for 2. A pair of flyouts. Hit the outside corner, strike one. Low and outside, ball one. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Wide, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on third. Grounder up the middle. Morgan to his right has it. Throws him out. Let's look at that one again. Morgan went a long way for that one. But the Dodgers get 3 runs, 2 hits, no errors. They left 1 man on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's an official game here on opening day in Cincinnati. Cincinnati 4, Los Angeles 3. Here's Pete Rose. He's 1 for 2 today. He led off the Reds in the first inning with a double. and came around to score. The 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. Rose is a good base runner. He's not really a stolen base guy, but has good instincts on the base paths. Here is Joe Morgan. He's 0 for 2 today. He grounded to second his last time up. Fastball in at the knees, strike 1. Grounded to first. Buckner. His only play is the first. He'll take it himself. 1 out. Rose moves into scoring position. Here's Bobby Tolan. He's 1 for 2. He doubled in the first, driving in Pete Rose. Flied to center last time up. Strike 1 called on the fastball. Inside, ball 1. Ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Strike 3 called on a breaking ball. He got fooled on that one. 2 outs. Here's Johnny Bench. He's 1 for 1. He singled in the first. And that scored Bob Tolan. He walked in the 4th. He was caught stealing in the first also. Caught the outside corner, strike 1. Change up, too high, ball 1. Checked his swing. They said he checked it in time, ball 2. Ball 3, 3 balls, 1 strike. Swing and a miss on a fastball, strike 2, full count, 2 outs. Runner on second. Hits a hard grounder to short. Wills up with it. Throws him out, 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We played 5 in Cincinnati. It's opening day. Cincinnati 4, Los Angeles 3. Be Frank Robinson, Jim Lefevre, and Willie Crawford for Los Angeles in the 6th. Frank Robinson walked in the 2nd, he walked in the 4th. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bench dropped the ball. He had to throw to first for the strikeout. 1 out. Here is Jim Lefevre. He's 0 for 2 today. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Bellingham. Here is Willie Crawford. He's 2 for 2. Singled in the 2nd. He tripled in the 5th. The 2-1 pitch. Base hit into right field corner. Geronimo's after it. Crawford around second. And he'll stop there. That's his first double of the year. So it looks like Crawford only needs a home run for the cycle. Here's Duke Sims. He's 0 for 1. He grounded it into a double play and he walked. He scored in the 5th after walking. Curveball. Sharp grounder. Foul. Strike one. High and outside. Ball one. Grounder to third. Minky to his left. Has a long throw to first, but he got him. No runs, one hit, no errors, one left. We go to the bottom of the sixth. It is Cincinnati 4, Los Angeles 3. For Cincinnati in the sixth, it will be Tony Perez, Dennis Minky, and Cesar Geronimo. Tony Perez is 2 for 2. He doubled in the first and hit a two-run homer in the fourth. The 2-1 pitch. Pops it up on the infield. Wills takes charge. He's got it. One out. Here's Dennis Minky. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. The 1-1 pitch. Grounder to third. Grabarkowitz throws. Bang, bang play. Minky beat it out. He is safe. Here is Cesar Geronimo, who's 0 for 2. Minky on first. One out. Reds lead by 1. Grounder to short. This could be 2. To second for 1. And no throw by Lefevre. Wills made a nice backhand stop on that one. 2 outs, runner on first. Here's Dave Concepcion, who's 0 for 2. Swing and a miss, strike one. Geronimo going for second. Sims the throw. He's out. He got him. Two to 4 on that play. Lefevre made the tag. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, no one left. We played 6. It is Cincinnati 4, Los Angeles 3. That was the second base runner that Sims threw out trying to steal today. Top of the 7th for the Dodgers. It will be Grabarkowitz, Sutton, and Wills. Barkowitz is 0 for 1 with a walk. The 2-0 pitch. Fly ball in the center field. Tolan to his left has it. 1 out. Here's Don Sutton. He's 0 for 1. He struck out and he had a sacrifice bunt. The 0-2 pitch. He hits a fly ball in the center field. Tolan has it. 2 outs. Here's Maury Wills. He's 0 for 3. He's looking for his first hit of the season. The 0-1 pitch. It's a sharp liner in the center field, but it's hit right at Tolan. Tolan puts it away. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, nothing across for the Dodgers. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Cincinnati 4, Los Angeles 3. Take a look around the league again. Top of the 7th in New York. The Pirates lead the Mets 6-1. Bob Robertson hit his first home run of the year. It's Doc Ellis pitching against Ray Sadecki right now. Top of the 7th at Tiger Stadium. Red Sox and Tigers tied at 1. Doug Griffin is 3 for 3 today. Mickey Lolich on the mound for Detroit. Top of the 6th in Cleveland. Indians lead the Brewers 9-1. Greg Nettles hit his first home run of the year. That is Bill Parsons against Gaylord Perry. Top of the 7th at Wrigley Field. The Phillies lead the Cubs 9-4. Greg Luzinski of the Phillies hit his first home run of the year. That is Steve Carlton, who came over to the Phillies in a trade for Rick Wise against Larry Gura. Bottom of the third in St. Louis. No score between the Expos and the Cardinals. That's Bill Stoneman against Bob Gibson. And top of the fourth in Kansas City, the White Sox won, the Royals nothing. That is Wilbur Wood against Dick Drago. Dick Allen hit his first home run of the year. Today's his first game as a player in the American League. Chicago, it was kind of a heartbreaking story last year when they were able to pass the Oakland A's and win the AL West, but their pitching fell a little short in the ALCS against the Orioles. Here is Dave Concepcion leading off. He's 0 for 2 today. He'll be followed by Billingham and Rose. Fastball. He pops it up. Barkowitz will take it. 1 out. Here is Jack Billingham. He's 0 for 2. He struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth. The 0-1 pitch. Bouncer to short. Wills up with it. The throw to first. Bang, bang play. He's safe. He beat it out. That's the second infield hit today that the Reds beat out. Minky and Billingham. Here's Pete Rose. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. He doubled in the first. Came around to score the first run of the game. Low, ball 1. Base hit in right field. Davis takes charge of that one. But the Dodgers have runners on first and second. 1 out. Here's Joe Morgan, who's 0 for 3. Low and in, ball 1. On the black, strike 1. Grounder to first. But Buckner's going to hold it. Looks like he took a look at trying to throw Billingham out at third, but decided to hold on to it and not commit a possible error. It's Bobby Tolan. He's 1 for 3. He doubled in the first, drove in Pete Rose. Dodgers draw the infield in. Sutton is in a real jam here. Pops it up to the catcher. Sims has it. 2 outs. Oh, what a play. That's a real break for the Dodgers. That brings up Johnny Bench. He's 1 for 2. He singled in the first. That scored Bob Tolan. And he walked in the fourth. He was thrown out stealing in the first, and then Perez followed that up with a double. That could have possibly been a possible insurance run for Cincinnati. But Not going to dwell on that. Change up, inside, ball one. High and way outside, ball two. Foul tip, strike one. He's got to pitch the bench. There's nowhere to put him. Swing and a miss, strike two. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs. Strike 3 on a foul tip. Sims held onto it. 4th strikeout for Sutton. Oh, he worked himself out of a real jam there. No runs, 3 hits, no errors. They left the bases loaded. We go to the 8th inning. It is Cincinnati 4, Los Angeles 3. Man, Sutton made a couple of clutch pitches when he needed them. Enticing Tolan to foul out to the catcher and bench the strikeout. For the Dodgers in the 8th, it'll be Bill Buckner, Willie Davis, and Frank Robinson. Dodgers down by 1. Bill Buckner, he is 1 for 3. He tripled in the 5th, and that drove in 2 runs. The 0-2 pitch. Right back to the box. Billingham has it, throws him out. 1 out. Here's Willie Davis. He's over 3 today. The 1-2 pitch. Grounder to second. Morgan throws him out. 2 outs. Here's Frank Robinson. He is 0 for 1 with 2 walks today. The 1-2 pitch. Shallow fly ball in the right field. Geronimo coming in. Morgan and Perez going back. Geronimo has it. 3 outs. Nothing across for the Dodgers in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is Cincinnati 4, Los Angeles 3. All right, and we're back in the bottom of the 8th. This is WJST Parma, Norwich, and Tuscaloosa. In the bottom of the 8th for the Reds, it will be Tony Perez, Dennis Minky, and Cesar Geronimo. Perez is 2 for 3 today. He doubled in the 1st, hit a 2-run homer in the 4th, and he popped the Maury Wills in the 6th. The 1-2 pitch. Fly ball into left field. Crawford drifting back. He's got it. 1 out. Here's Dennis Minky. He's 1 for 2. He grounded to second in the 1st. He walked in the 4th, and he had an infield single in the 6th. The 3-2 pitch. Fly ball, center field. Davis is there. He's got it. 2 outs. Here's Cesar Geronimo. He's 0 for 3 today. The 1-1 pitch. Base hit in the right field. That brings up Dave Concepcion. He's 0 for 3 today. Swing and a miss, strike 1. There goes Geronimo. Sims' throw. Lefevre puts on the tag, but he's safe. Stolen base number 1 for Geronimo. First stolen base of the year for the Reds. Ball 1. Pop up. Left field side, but that's foul. It's fly ball into center field. Davis is under it, and he has it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We played 8 here on opening day in Cincinnati. It is the Reds 4, the Dodgers 3. Ninth inning for the Dodgers will have Jim Lefevre, Willie Crawford, and Duke Sims. Lefevre is 0 for 3 today. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball into right field. Geronimo going back, and he's got it. 1 out. Here is Willie Crawford. He is 3 for 3 today. He has a triple, a double, and a single. If he hits a home run, he will have hit for the cycle. The 0-2 pitch. Liner into the right field corner. He rounds first. Rounding second. The throw slides. He's safe with a triple. That's his second triple today. Brings up Duke Sims. He's 0 for 2 today with a walk. 1 out. Tying runs on third. Reds have the infield in. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Inside, ball 1. Fastball, ball 2. Grounder to short. Concepcion has it. Throws him out. 2 outs with the infield in. Crawford was not able to score on that play. Pinch hitting for Billy Grabarkowitz will be Manny Mota, pinch hitter extraordinaire. Manny Mota came over to the Dodgers from Montreal in during the 1969 season. Last year he got into 70 games. He had 317. No home runs. He had 24 runs batted in. Mota's been around for a while. Came up with San Francisco in 62. Played for the Pirates, 63 to 68. Went to Montreal in the expansion draft, and then they traded him, and along with Maury Wills, to the Dodgers for, I believe, I'm drawing a blank. Not Ken McMullen, but the power hitter. Mota hits a base hit into center field. Crawford comes in, ties the game. Pinch hitting for Sutton will be switch hitter Wes Parker. Parker hit 311 last year with 9 home runs and 91 runs batted in. He was the Dodgers player rep during the strike. Two outs, runner on first. Game is tied. And they are setting in a pinch runner for Moda. Bill Russell coming in a pinch run. Ball 2. Mike Strahler is warming up in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Parker hits a fly ball in the right field. Geronimo's going over, but it makes the seats. Strike 1, 2 balls, 1 strike. Low and inside, ball 3. Base hit in the right field. Russell rounds second, he'll take third. We have runners at the corners, 2 outs. Russell on third representing the go-ahead run. Here's Maury Wills, who's 0 for 4 today, looking for his first hit. He swung at a bad pitch, strike 1. High, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a shallow fly ball in a left field. Rose is there, he's got it. But the Dodgers get 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. They left 2 men on base. We go to the bottom of the 9th. We are tied 4 apiece. Wes Parker will stay in the game at first base. Maury Wills moves to third. Bill Russell stays in the game at shortstop. Mike Strahler coming to pitch. And he will bat in the second position. Mike Strahler got into 12 games last year, pitched 14 innings. Got into 10 games, 16 and 2/3 innings in 1970. So he is essentially a rookie. He has 30 and 2/3 innings pitched in his career. For the Dodgers, or the Reds in the bottom of the 9th, it will be the pitcher spot, Pete Rose and Joe Morgan. Ted Uhlaender coming in a pinch hit. Uhlaender came over from the Indians in a trade for young pitcher Milt Wilcox. He had 293 last year with Cleveland. 2 home runs and 49 runs batted in. He had 2 good years with Cleveland, but he hated playing there and he hated the Indians organization. So he said, trade me or I'll retire. and they accommodated him by trading him. Along, just like Sam McDowell, he jumped the team for a couple days last season. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fly ball in the center field. Davis coming in. He's got it. 1 out. Here is Peter Edward Rose. He's 2 for 3. He doubled in the first. Came in to score. Fly to deep right in the third. He walked in the fifth. And he singled in the seventh. Joe Morgan's on deck. The 0-1 pitch. Foul tip. Sharp grounder to short. Russell has it. 2 outs. Here's Joe Morgan. He's 1 for 4. He singled on the infield in the seventh. They loaded the bases in the seventh with 1 out, but the Reds could not bring a runner in. The 1-2 pitch. Grounder to short. Russell has it. Throws him out. 3 outs. Nothing across for the Reds in the ninth. We go to extra innings here on opening day. Los Angeles 4, Cincinnati 4. Cincinnati has 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors, 7 left on base. Dodgers have 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 6 men left on base. New pitcher for Cincinnati is Ed Sprague. Sprague pitched for Oakland in 68 and 69. He got into 1 game with Cincinnati last season. I can't believe I did that. Mike Strahler leads off for the Dodgers, the pitcher. The 0-1 pitch. Base hit in the left field. Here's Willie Davis, who's 0 for 4 today. Ball 1. That's high. Ball 2. Fly ball down the right field line. That is foul. Low and outside. Ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. Ball 4. Runners on first and second. Nobody out. Here's Frank Robinson, who's 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Just outside, ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3. Sprague is having some real control issues here. In there at the knees, strike 1. Base hit in the right field. Strahler stops at third. We have bases loaded. Nobody out. Here's Jim Lefevre, who's 0 for 4. Infield is drawn in. Almost in the dirt, ball 1. Just below the belt, strike 1. Fly ball in the right field. Geronimo going back. Strahler tags. He's going for the plate. The throw. He's safe. Davis and Robinson advance on the throw. It's 5-4 Los Angeles, and here's Willie Crawford, who's 4 for 4 with 2 triples. And they're going to intentionally walk him. Here's a catcher, Duke Sims. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Swung at 1 out of the strike zone. Strike 1. Outside, ball 1. Outside on the black, strike 2. Jim Brewer's warming up for the Dodgers. The 1-2 pitch, high and outside, ball 2. Too high, ball 3. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Here's Bill Russell making his first at-bat of the season. Low, ball 1. Russell last year got in the 55 games. He had 232. He's been a Dodger utility man since 1969. Outside and low, ball 2. High, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Caught the inside corner, strike 1. 8th inning at Wrigley Field. Chicago is catching up. It's Philadelphia 10, Chicago 9. Russell hits a fly ball in the left field. Rose drifting back at the track. Puts it away, but the Dodgers get 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. They left the bases loaded. So we go to the bottom of the 10th. It is Los Angeles 5, Cincinnati 4. Jim Brewer's coming in to pitch for the Dodgers. Left-hander. Last year he got into 49 games. He had a record of 4-4 with 19 saves. He's a fly ball pitcher, so let's see what happens here. Bob Tolan leads off the 10th. It'll be Tolan, Bench, and Perez. Tolan's 1 for 4. He doubled in the first. And that drove in Pete Rose, the first run of the game. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball in the center field. Davis there, and he's got it. Tolan in the 7th, man, with bases loaded, 1 out, and he popped out to Duke Sims. That was a big play. Sims made another big play on Johnny Bench in the first, throwing him out when Bench tried to steal. Bench is 1 for 3. He singled in the first. That drove in Bob Tolan, and he walked. He was thrown out stealing in the first, and then Tony Perez followed that up with a double. So that may have cost the Reds a run in the first inning. The 3-0 pitch. Outside, ball 4. Bench was taken all the way. Here's Tony Perez. He's 2 for 4. He doubled in the first. He had a 2-run homer in the 4th. He popped out in the 6th. And he fly deep to left field down the line in the eighth. It's a shallow fly ball in the center field. Davis is there. He has it. Bench goes back to first. And that seventh inning with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and Johnny Bench struck out. He hit a foul tip, and Sims was able to hold on to it. That was quite a jam that Don Sutton was able to wriggle out of. Here's Dennis Menke. He's 1 for 3. He had an infield single in the sixth. He also walked in the fourth. Geronimo is on deck. Low and inside, ball 1. Curveball on the inside corner at the knees, strike 1. In tight, ball 2. High and inside, ball 3. Ball 4. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Bench representing the tying run. Menke representing the winning run. Here is Geronimo. He's 1 for 4. He singled back in the 8th inning. Oh, they're calling it back. Hal McRae will pinch hit. Hal McRae, right-hand hitter. Hal McRae hit .224 last year. He had 15 home runs and 48 runs batted in. Been with the Reds since 1970. In there below the belt, strike 1. 2 outs, bench on second, Menke on first. Bench represents the tying run. Menke represents the winning run. And in the 8th inning at Wrigley, the Cubs have tied the Phillies 10-10. Low and outside, ball 1. Down and away, ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 men on. Curveball, grounder to second. Lefevre up with it to throw to first. That's the game. Dodgers win 5-4. Dodgers had 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors. They left 9 men on base. The Reds had 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors. They left 9 men on base. Winning pitcher is Mike Strahler, who's 1-0. Losing pitcher is Ed Sprague. Willie Crawford went 4 for 4 today with 2 triples, a double, and a single. He also scored 2 runs. For the Reds, Pete Rose went 2 for 4 with a double. Tony Perez went 2 for 5 with a home run, drove in 2 runs. Neither of the starters figured in the decision. Don Sutton pitched 8 innings, gave up 10 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. He gave up 1 home run. That was to Tony Perez. Walked 3, struck out 4. Jim Brewer got the save. Even though Brewer walked 2 men in the bottom of the 10th. Jack Billingham went 9 innings in his Reds debut. Gave up 7 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. Walked 4, struck out 3. The real story in this game is the bottom of the 7th. The Reds had the bases loaded with 1 out. They were up by 1. And then Sutton got Tolan to pop out to the catcher and struck out Johnny Bench. In the first inning, Bench singled and scored Tolan, making the game 2-0. But Bench was caught stealing, and then Perez followed that up with a double. So that may have cost Cincinnati a run. And in the ninth inning, the Dodgers were down 4-3. And with one out, Willie Crawford tripled. That was his second triple of the game. Sims grounded out 2 outs. Manny Mota came in a pinch hit, and he singled. That scored Crawford. That tied the game. Bill Russell pinch hit for him. Wes Parker came in a pinch hit. He singled, putting runners on the corners, but Wills flied out to end the inning. But that tied the game. And then in the 10th inning, Ed Sprague was having some real issues with his control. Mike Strahler, the pitcher, led off with a single. Davis walked. Frank Robinson singled. That loaded the bases. And then Strahler scored the winning run on a sacrifice fly by Jim Lefevre. Star of this game was Willie Crawford. Duke Sims threw 2 men out trying to steal, but Perez was able to hit him up for a stolen base. Willie Crawford, Tony Perez, Pete Rose, and Bob Tolan all had doubles today. Neither Sutton or Billingham looked like they had their best stuff today, but they got the pitches when that counted for the most part. Time of this game, 3 hours and 1 minute. I think this is an entertaining way to start off the season. Cincinnati jumped out to an early lead, 4-0 lead, but Dodgers were resilient, were able to come back. So once again, the final score, Dodgers 5, Cincinnati 4. Hope you enjoyed this game, and thank you for watching.